It's the start of the spring sports season here on TV3. Today we are at Fortunato Field in Montclair for a lacrosse match between the Mounties of Montclair and the Maroons of Ridgewood. And hello everyone and welcome to Fortunato Field here in Montclair. I'm Paul Spahala. Today we open up our spring sports season here on TV3 with what could be the best game in the state of New Jersey in lacrosse until we get into the state tournament. We bring together Montclair, certainly one of the highest rated teams this year in high school lacrosse, and the defending state champions from Ridgewood. Working with me on the sidelines, a man who knows quite a bit about lacrosse and especially about Montclair lacrosse, Homer Robinson. And Homer, it turned out we have a beautiful day for our spring opener.
Paul, it's a fantastic day. And two fine teams, you always like to see that kind of a matchup. It's too bad it has to be so early, but again, we'll find out what the flavor is going to be this year in the lacrosse field.
Ridgewood, the defending state champions, with a coach that you know quite a bit about, Steve Jacobson.
Yes, Steve Jacobson goes way back to my first year to coaching up at Fairlawn. He's been around. He was up at Hunter Central. He coached up at Fairleigh Dickinson. He's now one of the top coaches in the state up at Ridgewood.
He's got a young man in his midfield who certainly Montclair will have to keep an eye on. That's Eric Benedict.
Yes, Eric Benedict made high school All-American last year, one of the top players in the country, and they're looking for big things out of him this year to repeat that same type of performance.
For the Maroons, this will be their season opener. They did not get started on April 1st, which was, of course, the official opening day. Montclair did, and they came away with a 6-2 victory over Hunterdon Central. Homer, any benefit to the Mounties to have one game under their belts?
Yes, it is. It gets a chance for the team to get their butterflies out of their system. They're ready. They've got a game in. Now they can play the game uncomposed instead of being overly hyper or overreacting to play situations that may come up.
On the other hand, Ridgewood had a chance to scout the Mounties on Monday, and one thing they saw that they certainly will be interested in is Peter Gilligan, who came away with 5 assists.
And that has to be a pleasant surprise for Coach Johnson. He's only a junior, his first year up on the varsity, and as a junior comes out passing the ball around, feeding the ball to the crease for goals.
And we are set for what should be an outstanding game today, the Maroons and the Mounties. Two teams that played together in the Garden State games. We'll talk about that reunion when we come back.
Hi, I'm Mickey Mantle. What happens to a family when a child gets cancer? It's devastating. Nothing is more frightening. A family can fall apart very easily. It needs help. In New Jersey, families can turn to the Emmanuel Cancer Foundation. This statewide organization responds to a single phone call and comes right into your home with sensitive professionals. Without red tape, they assist with costs, needed counseling, and they support the whole family because cancer strikes a home, not just a child. I know because 10 years ago it hit my home when cancer struck my son Billy. But there can be happy endings. Billy is fine. We're all fine again. If you need any kind of assistance, please call the Emmanuel Cancer Foundation. No one is ever turned away. Call today.
Welcome back to Fortunato Field, everyone. I'm Paul Spahala, with me Homer Robinson. Let's meet the starters for today's contest. First of all, for the defending state champions from Ridgewood. On the attack, they will use Joe Turco, Brett Sowers, and Dan Burns. The first midfield for Ridgewood will be Fox, St. Pierre, and Fissick. And the defense, Dennis Sullivan, Dan Sargent, and James Smith. Manning the nets for the Maroons will be number 1. The coach's son, Mark Jacobson. Mark is a senior. Last year, he was All-State Honorable Mention. For the Mounties of Montclair, 1-0 on the season. This is the way they will look. Up front on the attack, they will have Alex Bobrowski, Kevin Capra, and Peter Gilligan. The first midfield unit will be Ted Westhell, Tim Kennedy, and Brian FELBER. And defensively for the Mounties, Jeremy Marks, Jason Relke, and Chris Nippes. Between the pipes for the Mounties today will be number 11, John KIDON. KIDON had 15 saves in the season opening victory over Hunterdon Central. Our officiating crew, Tim Cullen, and the gentleman you see in your screen right now is Ralph Sturdivant. Sturdivant and Cullen. There is Steve Jacobson, head coach of the Maroons of Ridgewood, in his 5th year at the helm of the team, 44-19. Three-sport coach Chris Johnson is in charge of the Montclair Mounties. He also coaches girls soccer and wrestling. Westhill and St. Pierre will face it off. Westhill for the Mounties, Greg St. Pierre for the Maroons. And ladies and gentlemen, we are underway.
A very important part of the game is the face-off. Who's going to control the first going offense first?
And it is controlled by the Maroons of Ridgewood. This is Ryan Fox, number 4. He's got Sowers to his right. Crosses it over the middle. Blocked. And we had, I believe, a crease violation. Initial shot was taken by Joe Turco.
We have our first man-up situation here, Paul.
And that is correct. My mistake penalty against Montclair, which will give Ridgewood the man up.
And sometimes called extra man. And Montclair's playing man down.
Turco goes to Sowers. Sowers has it back again. He's wearing the red helmet. He goes to Turco behind the net. Passing, a key element of the game. Sumner goes to Sowers, looking in front. Good pass, shot and a goal.
Excellent passing, stick handling by Ridgewood.
Eric Benedict.
Gentlemen, we were talking about at the opening of the program. Here we go with the replay. Nice ball moving around. Pass back to the left, right down the throat of the goal.
Benedict had 21 last year, and he gets started quickly this season. Benedict from Sowers. And, of course, for the freshman Sowers, a great start to his lacrosse high school career. Ridgewood 1-0.
An excellent beginning by Ridgewood. The first game, within 2 minutes of the beginning of the game, they have scored their first goal.
And Ridgewood, of course, takes advantage of the man-up situation. Montclair quickly comes down the other end. First shot, and it is in. We're tied. Kevin Capra with his 2nd goal of the season. And if you have never seen lacrosse, this is how quickly teams can get back in the game.
Okay, here comes Kevin. Firing, going to his right, receiving the pass. He fires it down low into the corner of the net. Kevin, a returning senior, started last year.
Capra from Bobrowski. And we're tied at 1 apiece. And Homer, you mentioned how important face-offs were. Montclair got the face-off, brought it down. Bobrowski found Capra, and we're tied at 1 apiece.
Exactly, and it looks like it finds out who's going to stay on offense the longest, who's going to win the ball game.
Another key element of the game, ground balls. That one won by Ryan Fox. Knocked free momentarily, but Fox comes up with it again.
It's just like in basketball, controlling the backboards. The team that usually controls the backboard usually wins the game. And same thing with ground balls in lacrosse.
Hard, low shot, bounces free.
The ball goes over to White since they were the closest to the ball. Lacrosse, the person closest to the ball when the ball goes out of bounds on a shot. Okay, he fires the shot low, bounces across the face of the goal towards the out of bounds. Montclair kid took off the quickest to the line, and he was the closest, so he got possession of the ball, and the ball is going to Montclair. Montclair's going to try to clear the ball.
And let's see what Ridgewood has in the way of a plan to stop Montclair from breaking out. Here comes Roslin. Roslin checked hard and loses the ball. Roslin, a 2-goal scorer on Monday.
Okay, the ball went out of bounds. The ball goes over to Ridgewood. Someone's complaining about there's not enough distance between the defending player and the offensive player. It must be a 5-yard difference between the two.
Benedict, number 23, will put the ball into play for the Maroons.
He's going to either try to split it or return the ball behind him. Yeah, nice clear.
Quick pass to Dennis Sullivan. That's Sullivan. He may go in all the way. No, he'll pass it off. And there was a whistle prior to the pass. Prior to the shot, I should say.
I didn't see the officials.
The only thing I can guess is that Sullivan did come up from a defensive
It could have
position,
been
so it
offside.
could have been offside.
Yes. And in lacrosse, you have to have 4 on the offensive side and 3 on the defensive side. 3 on the offense, excuse me, and 4 on the defensive side of the ball, of the field.
And again, I didn't see the call, but I did see that Sullivan did come across, and that's just a quick guess that no one balanced things off by going back on the defensive side for Ridgewood.
Excellent point there, Paul. And usually it's done by one of the midfielders.
1-1 our score.
And for those of you just watching lacrosse for the first time, there are 3 defensemen and a goalie, 3 midfielders, and 3 attackmen.
Not too many schools play high school lacrosse. I believe it's in the neighborhood of 50 throughout the state.
One of the things, sometimes the equipment becomes expensive, and some schools don't want it because it competes against the baseball program.
It is a fast-paced, very exciting game. We've got a good example of that right here. 1-1. Ball lost behind the net. Sowers tries to come up with it. Instead, it is Jeremy Marks, one of the tri-captains for Montclair. Number 26, Marks passes to the side. Tracked down by Tim Kennedy.
One of the young junior midfielders for Montclair, number 9, Tim Kennedy.
Dan Wolf, number 19, passes deep in the corner to Gilligan. Gilligan over to Capra. Cross in front, shot taken by Bobrowski, just goes across the front of the goal mouth, still controlled by the Mounties. Westhell, number 10. He gets it to Bobrowski behind the net. Let's see if he'll go one-on-one. Another thing to keep an eye on, and again, this is just for you people who are new to lacrosse, keep an eye on how many hands are on the stick. When it's 1, generally that means the man is going to run with it. When it's 2, look for him to shoot or pass. Capra goes behind to Gilligan. Gilligan 5 assists on Monday. He goes to Capra.
Excellent ball moving by Montclair, passing and catching. Everybody's getting a feel. No one's standing still.
Bobrowski, hard check, pops the ball free. That was Sullivan who hit it. And then Jacobson, the Ridgewood goalie, comes up with the free ball.
And it's called a pitch clear. Going with a fast break the other way.
Sumner dishes off to his left to Burns. Burns, number 15, behind the net. Finds a man in front. Left-handed shot knocked away by KIDON. And it is controlled by the Mounties. An unsportsmanlike conduct has been called on Trevor Harris.
Okay. Okay, here's the pass across the crease. Cradles a couple of times, tries to fire it to the goal. He should have put it down on the ground. However, the goalie was able to make the save because it was straight at his stick.
Simultaneously, a foul was called on Jason Relke from Montclair, so we will have 1 minute simultaneous penalties.
Okay, both teams are being penalized, and that means both teams are playing 1 man short. Actually, they're playing even up, but they're playing with 1 man short. I also overheard the officials say that they are non-releasable. That means that they have to serve the full time of the penalty. They have to stay in the box. There's a marking on the field that if you get the ball in the box, then the man can be released, but that doesn't hold true in this situation here. Okay, they decided since it was the simultaneous, they're going to have a face-off over here on the side.
Rare that you see a face-off other than in midfield, and especially with it being down here in Ridgewood's offensive zone, it becomes very big for Montclair defensively.
Yes. The big thing is that they try to come up with this ball right quickly and get it on to the offensive end of the field. If you want to spend this time short-handed, spin it on offense, not on D.
Wolf for Montclair, St. Pierre for Ridgewood, fight for it. No one's come up with it yet. Still free. Kennedy tries to kick it ahead for Montclair.
Ground ball's a key situation.
Finally, it is Sowers for Ridgewood who takes it, and then Sowers knocked out, and turnover gives the ball back to Montclair. Good, hard hit by Dan Wolf.
Okay, here's the play right here in front of us. He cradles a couple of times. The fenceman puts a block on him and knocks him out of bounds, which is an excellent play. The coach is complaining he wants a hit in the back. However, the official is stating that the fact he turned into it. You can hit in lacrosse like in football as long as it's above the knees and in the front. Hit him in the back, then it's considered a clipping like in football. It's considered in the back penalty. However, if the gentleman turned his back just as the hit is starting, that's not considered a hit in the back.
Out of play, Ridgewood will get possession on the far side of the field.
Lately, Ridgewood seems to be controlling the ball down on the offensive end of the field. That's a key factor. Keep your eye on that as you watch the game as to who stays on the offense the longest.
Montclair's really only been on offense twice. Once they scored, once they had that great series of passing, but eventually a hard check by Sullivan popped the ball free.
Good point. We have an isolated situation here. One hand on a stick, looking for two.
Benedict trying to move with it. His pass to Turco. Turco lost his footing, still controlled by Ridgewood. This is Sumner, 33. Sumner tries to come around. He's hit by Wolf, pops the ball free.
Ground ball situation.
Penalties have expired.
And both teams are coming in and they'll be playing even up.
Harris
on
back
6.
in for Ridgewood.
Okay, Montclair's using a man-to-man defense.
High shot hit off the stick of goalkeeper KIDON.
Even though the ball was off KIDON's stick, it was a shot, and the person closest to the ball was the youngster from Benedict, number 23, from Ridgewood. And the ball stays on the offensive end of the field.
And it will be Benedict who will start the action from behind the Montclair net. 4 10-minute quarters, and we're nearing the end of that first quarter.
Good movement by Ridgewood. They don't hold the ball too long. They look to hit the open man. Good movement, make the defense move.
Still in front, and it is a goal for Benedict, his second of the day. He took 2 hard checks, never lost the ball, and finally just shot for the upper part of the net, and it's 2-1 Ridgewood.
Benedict starts behind the cage, comes around to his right. He fights through 2 players. He thought the ball was checked out of his stick. It was like a surprise. Hey, it's still in there. And he found, to his surprise, it wasn't. He just figured, well, I might as well throw it into the goal, and that's what he did.
It was a slow developing play,
Yes.
because as you said, I don't think Benedict was 100% sure he still had the ball.
The way you would have liked that play to develop would have been for them to hand him his lunch. He's not supposed to come between 2 players physically. You're supposed to flatten him out.
And that's exactly part of the...
When he was surprised, he was still standing and still had the ball, so... Someone released too soon on the face-off. You must stay behind the line until the whistle's blown. Somebody inadvertently jumped too soon.
That was against Montclair, so Ridgewood will go back on the offensive.
Okay, we hear again, since we're close to the side, we can hear the commands being called from the bench. Someone's yelling invert, and it means that midfielder go down behind the cage and take a place of an attackman.
Fox brings it out.
Excellent roll dodge.
Burns with the shot.
Save by KIDON.
KIDON, a member of the Montclair hockey team. Outlet pass knocked away by Turco. Picked up finally by Montclair, and they get it back to KIDON.
Montclair's having a hard time clearing the ball. This time they're being able to do so.
At the other end, here come the Mounties. Bobrowski checked hard. Ball pops free.
Okay, the ball goes over again to Ridgewood. Ridgewood's going to try to clear the ball the full length of the field.
Jacobson, number 1, the goalie. You'll see the goalie get the ball quite often in lacrosse, as opposed to, let's say, hockey, where the goalie really won't be part of moving the puck around that much. In lacrosse, you need your goalie to be a good stick handler.
Yes, you do, and he's just usually your quarterback on the defense. He calls the plays and makes sure everybody's doing their job and directs the defense.
Good fake on the handoff, and the shot is in for Sumner. Sumner and Benedict cross paths. Looked like they had handed it off. Benedict took off behind the net. Sumner kept coming across the front and then fired it home.
Okay, here we have a replay of Benedict firing in his 3rd goal. Sidearm right through to the net. Again, I think Montclair right now is playing too loose. And when they're that close to the goal, they got to tighten up. They're retreating too much, leaving too much space. Anytime he's that close to the goal, he has to play tight. He should be checking that bottom hand to make sure that we know he's going to shoot. He's not going to pass it that close, 9 times out of 10.
Timeout called by Montclair with the score 3-1 in favor of Ridgewood. Montclair just really has not been on the offensive, Homer. Ridgewood, on the other hand, has been moving the ball well for early in the season. And granted, they are the defending state champions, but very crisp passing for the first game of the year.
Okay, we're going to get a look at this last goal and showing you how he's coming down the field. Here goes Benedict, number 23.
Just for a moment,
we thought that he had the ball. And I said it was Benedict. That's number 33, not 23.
Sumner with the goal.
Sumner, I'm sorry. I gave the credit to Benedict, but that was Sumner with the goal, number 33. Excellent shot.
It was Benedict who got almost what you would have to call the fake handoff.
Yes.
Borrowing a football term. But Sumner actually kept possession, brought it in front, and pretty much unchecked fired in the 3-1 goal.
And you're bringing up the point. You're letting him in too close without being checked. They can't allow that to happen. The goalie has no chance of making a save with that kind of range between him and the person shooting the ball. Again.
Penalty. Fox brings it across.
Okay, they want to get a shot out of this before the flag means that they keep playing until there's a break in the action.
Benedict in front, low shot, hit a Montclair player.
Okay, Ridgewood's going man up, Montclair's going man down.
Bobrowski called for the foul. It's a 1-minute foul.
Okay, it must have been a flagrant one. Okay, usually the offense wants to move the ball around quickly to make the defense shift since they're playing one man short and find the open man. And usually you do this by moving the crisp passing.
This will be the second man-up situation for Ridgewood. They scored on their first.
And then also they may have a play set up off of this, of the rotation.
Turco.
Okay,
he tries to move it around. Sowers to Sumner. Sumner will shoot high. KIDON with the save.
Excellent save by KIDON. Not a very good shot by Ridgewood. The point was the ball that far out, you got to shoot the ball on the ground. Looking for a ricochet into the net.
Here's a good example of what we spoke of before, the goalie being part of the attack, or in this part really just clearing it, but part of the offense.
They have an offsides call there. Okay, there was a defenseman going over the line. There were 4 on the defense, and he took the ball and ran straight across the line without anybody compensating and staying back. Okay, a loose ball across the line. He picks the ball up and runs straight across. The only thing he could have hoped for that there was a defense midi near the line. He could have compensated by staying back.
And you saw on the tail end of the replay one of the middies jumping over, hoping that Tim Cullen didn't see him. But Tim Cullen makes the call. Just 7 seconds left in the first quarter. Capra feeds it in front, knocked away. A 30-second foul has been called against Trevor Harris. With only about 2 seconds or so left in the first quarter. Ridgewood makes their adjustments. 30-second man-down situation.
I don't think there's enough time to get a score out of this here. I think you said it was 7 seconds left.
Well, that was a call I had heard from the scorer's table.
Okay, Montclair's going to go what we call an on ride, a pressure ride. That means they're going to jump on the defender, as soon as they get the ball. Yes, they did. We didn't come up with a loose ball there.
Now we're entering the final seconds. Again, there is no official clock that is visible to the fans. I believe the call now is that there are 5 seconds left in the quarter.
Usually with 1 minute left in the quarter, the clock goes on.
Usually you see one of the timekeepers run out with the clock.
But we haven't seen one yet, so she's still standing over at the table.
Or it could be she's counting down the penalty time.
Okay.
And you saw just momentarily Tim Cullen come over for a quick chat with Steve Jacobson.
Give him an explanation of the call. That's very courteous of him, because most of the time they won't give you the time of day as far as that's concerned. That's not part of the job to do that. Not unless it's, and he went out of his way to do that. Loose ball. Montclair's got to come up with the ground ball. This is where, again, they're hurting why they're staying on the defensive end of the field.
Finally to Sowers, who comes up with a little backflip pass to Sumner, and Sumner's shot is high. But it will be Ridgewood possession.
Since there was a man from Ridgewood closer to the end line.
Nice pass by Brett Sowers, just a freshman.
Okay, after a scramble for the ground ball, behind the head pass.
Oh.
And just a little high. If it had been hitting right on the stick, if he had ended jump, that would have been a goal.
Now the clock is on the field. 30 seconds left in the quarter. Benedict. They free the right side for him. He's going to try and go one-on-one. Pass back across traffic. Sowers has to chase it down.
The defense is sagging in too deep. They need us to move out just a little bit more, pressure the ball a little bit more.
10 seconds to go. Benedict, he might go one-on-one here to close out the quarter.
Good defense by number 8.
And that will do it. Ridgewood jumps out to a 3-1 lead at the end of the quarter. 2 goals for Eric Benedict. We will be right back with more lacrosse action from Fortunato Field.
Hello, I'm Congressman Donald Payne, and I'd like to talk with you about a program called Suburban Crime Watch. I urge you to watch and participate in this joint effort between Suburban Cablevision and your county sheriff's department. The program uses your anonymous tips to help apprehend wanted criminals in your area. Please help us fight crime in New Jersey. Suburban Crime Watch can be seen Mondays at 9 p.m. only on Suburban Cablevision TV 3.
Welcome back to Montclair, everyone. Paul Spahala, Homer Robinson here on the call for not only our lacrosse opener, but our spring sports opener. Monday we were scheduled to do a baseball game. We got rained out, but we'll be back with more lacrosse action next week down in Union County, where the Crusaders of Johnson, last year's state finalist, will take on the Westfield Blue Devils. You'll be able to see Johnson and Westfield Thursday evening at 8 and Sunday night at 9:30 right here on TV3.
Get 4 fine teams on the air the first 2 weeks of the season.
Last year, Ridgewood defeated Johnson 7-4 in the state championship game. That game was held up at Madison High School. That is where the championship will be again this year in early June. Montclair's got to get more on the offense. Here comes Westell, but a great stop by Mark Jacobson. And then a foul after the shot.
Oh, here comes Ted Westell, number 10. He brings the ball down the face of the throat of the goal, does a couple of face dodges, throws a shot at the goal. The goalie makes a nice save, and he was driven into the crease area. By the way, that white line around the crease, around the goal, is called the crease. An offensive play cannot go in that area. If he's pushed in there, then that's something different. But the defense can go in there as often as possible. The attack cannot.
For Ridgewood, Dennis Sullivan comes off on the penalty.
And it seems the penalty was that Westell was hit in the back, which is against the rules.
And the result is a bent lacrosse stick. There's a quick look at it. It's one of those new 45-degree angle sticks. Montclair on the attack.
Man up situation. Again, good ball movement.
Gilligan passes to Capra. Capra looks like he just caught his foot in the turf as he tried to make the spin move.
Okay, they had a push on red and the ball stays white. Capra almost had a shot there at the cage.
There's Dennis Sullivan sitting out the remainder of his penalty.
Okay, the penalty is located, the penalty area is right there in front of the scores table, and they must stay in there until the official either waves them in or the ball goes into the penalty area. By the team committing the penalty, then he can be released.
Montclair working on their passing. We saw an example of it in the first quarter.
Good ball movement. Somebody needs to cut through, or they have a set play here.
Felber to Westhell, to Gilligan, back to Westhell. Capra wanted to pass it to a cutting Felber, but overshot him on the pass. Ground ball controlled by Kennedy for the Mounties. Ball stripped away by Ryan Fox. All the way back to the Montclair crease. Marks brings it across.
Good pass, crisp pass.
Let's see what Capra will do.
He's looking to feed, both hands on the stick. Decides to slow it down, set up the offense.
Behind to Gilligan. Gilligan looking for a cutter, no one there. Gilligan turns it the other way.
That's usually his job from behind. That's why you get those assists from him. Looking to feed the ball in front. Looking for cutters cutting through. Good ball movement.
Capra to Felber. Felber on the windup. Ball popped out of the pocket.
Fast break going the other way. Number 4 is bringing the ball down.
Fox crosses it. Wild shot by Turco. He just never really had possession of the ball in the webbing.
And he lost possession of the ball on that shot. And the ball goes to Montclair. Montclair clear the ball.
While we have a moment, there are a couple of rule changes that we should just point out for our viewers. One of them concerns calling timeouts. In the past, you had to be in your offensive end to call a timeout. Now, as long as you have possession, you're allowed to call timeout at any time.
Excellent point, Paul, because Coach Steve Jacobson was yelling for a timeout, and his player didn't hear him yelling from the far side.
There also is a rule concerning a random stick check that we'll get into in a moment. In front, shot and a goal as Brett Sowers, the freshman, tallies his first varsity goal.
This has to be some day for Brett Sowers. 1 goal, 1 assist in his first goal. His first game, excuse me. Okay, here he comes down the field. Someone finds him open. He fires it past the goalie, John KIDON.
The assist to Turco. And Ridgewood has now scored 3 in a row to open up a 4-1 advantage. The man in the red helmet, Brett Sowers, makes it 4-1 Maroons.
As you would say, an auspicious debut.
Not only to get a starting assignment as a freshman on opening day, but in the first half to have a goal and an assist.
Boy, the future looks bright.
Obviously, Steve Jacobson kind of knew what he had there.
Exactly.
A veteran coach, Steve Jacobson, many years at Fairlawn, Hunterdon Central, couple stints at a few different colleges, and now the 5th year as the head man at Ridgewood. So I'm sure he had a real good idea of what kind of talent he had out there.
Yes, that's been always one of his strong suits, an eye for talent. Along the side, you got to put him out.
Benedict gets around his man.
I'm very impressed with seeing Benedict for the first time, except second time, excuse me. I saw him in the state championship last year. He got good wheels.
Pass in front to Burns.
He runs he has good speed.
And Benedict, as Homer mentioned, All-America, All-State last year. Football player. He made All-NNJIL this season, so he's an all-around athlete.
And by the company he keeps, seems like a tough customer.
Sumner gets it to Benedict. Certainly they want Benedict to handle the ball as much as possible, but they're a very good passing team, this Ridgewood team.
And he doesn't seem to be a selfish player. He seems like he's looking to give the ball up, which you like to see. People thinking team instead of I.
Some of the qualities that helped Ridgewood to the state championship last year. And that, just to point out, they did graduate a number of fine players. They've got quite a bit coming back, but still they graduated a number of outstanding players, and they still look good. High pass just barely off the stick of Burns, and KIDON was able to come up with it.
Burns was standing there screening KIDON. KIDON was right. Somebody's got to clear him off the crease there. He just can't let him camp right there in front.
Nice little sidestep move by Jim Crane from Montclair. Gets it to Capra. Behind the net, Bobrowski, it popped free from him. And you are right, Homer. We'll see if it happens this time down. The Ridgewood players near the crease are standing alone and unchecked.
Fast break situation that then was unable to be fulfilled. Jason Relke.
Nice play by Sumner to strip the ball free of Relke. He reached high over his head and checked the ball free with his stick. Okay. Here's a look at it.
Okay, here's come Jason Relke carrying the ball up the field. He held the stick back, and that's called leaving the stick hanging, and the kid checked his stick out, checked the ball out. Jason Relke is one of our fine football players, one of the captains of the football team during the fall. Played center, made all county. He's one of our starting defensemen for Montclair.
Quite a number of multi-sport athletes on this Montclair team. A couple of hockey players, football players.
And that's what you like to see, the athletes out for the sport, not them one-dimensional. Kids are involved in more than one place.
Pass to Sowers, ball checked free from him by Nippes. Montclair is missing. There's a hard check by Ryan Fox. Sowers comes up with it, and we've got an injured player. Ryan Fox just delivered the check of the year as he brings down Matt Roslin.
Okay, here comes Matt Roslin. The pass by Relke to Roslin, number 13, and he's caught right up underneath the chin and flattened out. Again, he's still down with Coach Johnson's working on him to see how he's feeling. I didn't see a flag on it, so it must have been a legal hit.
Looks to be a clean one from our replay.
Yes, it did. And that's what makes this game so exciting. You hate to see anyone get hurt, but again, that's part of the game. Just like in football.
A very hard-hitting game that sometimes determines possession. And possession is, of course, the important factor here in lacrosse. Here's another look at it. Watch for number 4.
Okay, he had to reach high for the ball. Again, that lost his. He lost.
Never knows it's coming.
Exactly. I guess he lost his whereabouts, and at the same time as he was catching the ball, he left himself wide open.
And Fox with a good, clean hit, certainly coming from the side. He could have done almost anything illegal, but instead he got face up to the man and just hit him with a good hard check.
Okay.
Ryan Fox, a senior, 4 goals and 7 assists last year. As we mentioned, this is our spring season opener. On Monday, we were to televise a baseball game between Westfield and Irvington. The rain of the weekend canceled us from that one, so we hope to get out on the baseball diamond Friday when the New Providence Pioneers and their fine pitcher Ernie Schmidt will take on the Highlanders of Governor Livingston. Governor Livingston a winner yesterday in their season opener. You'll see this game Saturday the 6th at 8 p.m. and Tuesday the 9th at 8:30. Mountain Valley Conference baseball right here on TV3, and I believe the weather is going to give us a break. And it's good to see that Matt Roslin comes off the field.
He may have a few cobwebs in his head for a few minutes, but being as tough as he is, I know him very well. He's in my class, and he'll be back. And there's a little lesson to learn in that, and the subtlety of the game.
Roslin, a junior. If I remember correctly, played soccer in the fall.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. His brother played the year before as one of the goalies.
Ridgewood on the attack. They lead 4-1. We're in the second quarter. a beautiful day here at Fortunato Field in Montclair.
As we hear the sounds from the sidelines, there's a set play being run here. As we watch the screen, well, let's watch it develop.
Fox, number 4, tries to dodge past his man. His pass to Sumner beyond him. And because that was a pass, possession will turn over. And again, we just point these things out for our first-time viewers. On a shot, it's nearest to the ball, but that was a pass. Even though a Ridgewood player was nearest when the ball went out, because it was a pass, possession will change.
Just like in any other sport.
And again, we do this for the benefit of our first-time viewers. First time having a son out on the field, or a daughter, since there is, of course, girls high school lacrosse.
Yes, there is. And again, we're always looking to recruit some more lacrosse fans.
For our veteran fans, we beg your indulgence for a few moments while we point out some of these rules. Kennedy tries to bring it across for the Mounties. Fox going after him, misses on the stick check. Goes to Capra. Capra has Montclair's only goal. Jacobson with the kick save. He's a tough one in the nets. All-State last year, Mark Jacobson, All-State honorable mention.
Excellent look by, okay. We find, and we got a replay here, a fine look by Tim Kennedy. He finds Capra off to his left, coming around the cage. Capra fired the shot low, but Mark Jacobson made the fine save.
When Mark was a 6th grader 6 years ago, became interested in the sports, and his father was influenced to come to Ridgewood and take over coaching the 7th grade team. 5 years ago, Steve Jacobson moved up to the varsity, and now his son, for another season, joins him. Mark was one of the starting goalies last year. They alternated goalies quite a bit. Matter of fact, Mark did not even start the championship game last year. Came in and played very well in the second half against Johnson. Fox bounces a shot.
Good placement on the shot. Again, far out, you want to put the ball on the ground. In close, you want to go up top. Again, you have a better chance of making the goal with that philosophy of shooting.
FELBER brings it across.
And he got a
high hit by Benedict. He's going to complain about it momentarily.
Okay, Benedict catches him up underneath the chin here, wrap around up underneath the chin. You see that with the stick? And that's a penalty on Brian FELBER, number 8, All-State hockey player.
So Benedict will be out for 30. And FELBER does stay in to be part of this man-up situation.
Now, also, when you're playing man down, you like to get your when you're playing man up, you would like to get some shots on cage. Just moving the ball is not enough. You need, the more shots you get, chances of scoring are much greater, naturally.
FELBER took that shot. It went wide, but it's still controlled by the Mounties.
With only being a 30-second penalty, you have to get that play off very quickly so you can get at least maybe 1 or 2 shots at the goal. Make them pay for the shorthandedness.
2 seconds left in the penalty. Teams are back to even strength. And the disappointing thing for the Mounties, Homer, only 1 shot during the 30 seconds.
Exactly. And I
and
think
that wasn't even on goal.
Good point, Paul. And I think Montclair is being outshot. Again, you got to get your shots.
Well, there they get a shot. Trickles in front, but it goes across the goal mouth. Benedict tries to hand it off to Jacobson. In front, punched home and in by Peter Gilligan. Gilligan took advantage of a rare Ridgewood mistake to make it 4-2. Here's a look at it. Benedict will try and hand it off to his keeper once the ball pops free.
The ball is sitting there, rakes it in front.
But I don't think Jacobson will expect the pass. Here, Benedict has it. And Benedict Jacobson didn't see it. Gilligan just punched it with the back of the stick.
Thank you.
And it's 4-2.
I think he tried to flip it to Jacobson, as you said before, and the ball was laying there, and that's what we call a garbage goal. But at this stage of the game, Montclair take anything we can get. get us back in this ball game.
For Peter Gilligan, his first goal of the year. And it becomes a 4-2 game. Unassisted goal for Peter Gilligan.
Second year, I said early in the program, that was his first year on the varsity. This is his second year on the varsity. His fourth or fifth attackman last year, is getting a run as a starting attackman this year.
Interesting in that the power play really produced nothing for Montclair, but yet once the teams were back to even strength, they took advantage of a mistake to score. Let's see how it affects their momentum here. Maybe they'll pick up something from getting a ball in the nets.
Yes.
Gilligan has it. The 450 New Jersey Transit passes us by. Free ball. No one has clearly gained possession yet. Sowers tried for it, and finally Relke had it momentarily. Illegal pick has been called against the Mounties.
Just like in basketball, you have to be standing still. You can't be moving, setting a pick. And the result of that is the loss of the ball. It goes over to Ridgewood. Going to be put in play by Eric Benedict, number 23.
We're in the final minute of play in the first half. The clock is on the field.
Look like Ridgewood has an invert play. They take it behind the cage, either make something happen himself or look for the feed out front.
Sumner will fire the shot high. KIDON comes up with the save. Outlet pass intercepted. Sowers swipes at it and misses. He'll chase it down, but it is KIDON who comes up with it. And the half will come to a close with the Mounties having taken advantage of a mistake. 1 goal apiece in the second quarter. We'll go to the break with the score Ridgewood 4, Montclair 2.
Suburban Cablevision's TV3 is your local origination channel, serving Suburban's 42 neighboring communities with the best in local coverage of the events that shape the suburban viewing area. From high school sports to local politics, TV3's committed to informing and entertaining you with the best in local programming.
Welcome back, everyone, to Fortunato Field. Our score at this point, 4-2 in favor of Ridgewood. We have some highlights of some of the action that took place in the first half of play, and Homer, no surprise that we've seen some great play from Eric Benedict.
Yes, and I believe he may be one of their first All-American players for Ridgewood. Again, he's a fantastic player.
A 4-1 advantage for Ridgewood until the closing moments of the half, when an uncharacteristic mistake, as it turns out, it was by Benedict.
Yes, it was.
Watch for number 5, Peter Gilligan.
He's working hard for the ground ball. He meant to flip it to the goal, and the goalie wasn't expecting it. Gilligan, being very alert, slapped it right in. Nice play by him. And again, I keep saying about Benedict, Ridgewood is basically a young lacrosse program, and Benedict is will be one of the cornerstones as years come by. They'll probably have many more fantastic players come out of there, as we had in Montclair.
Ridgewood actually got the scoring started early in the game. Benedict with a goal from Turco. That made it 1-0 in favor of the Maroons. Montclair tied it on a goal by Kevin Capra. Benedict scored to make it 2-1. Sumner scored, Sowers scored, and then Gilligan scored for the Mounties. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back right after this.
Hello, I'm Congressman Donald Payne, and I'd like to talk with you about a program called Suburban Crime Watch. I urge you to watch and participate in this joint effort between Suburban Cablevision and your county sheriff's department. The program uses your anonymous tips to help apprehend wanted criminals in your area. Please help us fight crime in New Jersey. Suburban Crime Watch can be seen Mondays at 9 p.m. only on Suburban Cablevision TV3.
4-2 our score. Ridgewood in front of Montclair. Opening game of the year for the Maroons. Montclair already 1-0. 6-2 victory over Hunterdon Central on Monday. Homer, the Mounties have got to hope that Gilligan's goal gives them a little inspiration here at the start of the second half.
I would say so, Paul, and I would also call it a Montclair tradition of being tough when it counts. By no means is this game over. There's plenty of room for them to make a change in the results. Again, Ridgewood controls the ball on the ground ball, and the ball, and Ridgewood goes on offense very quickly.
Benedict. Wolf is taking him.
You have an isolation there.
Benedict around the net, shoots and scores, 5-2. So the answer about the momentum swing is given by the Maroons as Eric Benedict collects the hat trick.
His third goal, All-American, comes around the cage to his right, does a roll dodge, fires a shot. Again, that help, the backup on the defenseman who's guarding Benedict is not there. There's no way possible that he should be able to come around that corner of the crease and not be able to have someone there to close him down. And that may be because of lack of communication between the backup person and the person who's guarding him. When they see that he needs some help, they got to come to his help and mean it and do it with some sort of effective willpower.
Three-goal differential, really not much to worry about. What Montclair has to worry about is they have not been on the offensive attack much today. That should concern them more than the deficit. 3 goals in lacrosse you can make up in about 45 seconds.
And if you get on the offensive end of the field, and that's what Ridgewood's playing into their strength. As long as they don't have to play any D, they're going to win this ball game. There's no doubt about that.
Still a little early, but we will see if Ridgewood decides to maybe slow down the pace a bit.
Okay.
They slow it down here only for the substitution to get Benedict back in after the face-off. I don't think they're going to turn it down just yet. Maybe as we get to the fourth quarter, they may go for a few extra passes.
Good call.
A little too early to take yourself out of your own style of play. Sumner tries to bring it in. He'll pass it off to Benedict. Now they start to look for cutters. St. Pierre has it.
And since Benedict has the hot hand, they're going to him again. Starting him deep from behind the cage. See if again he'll try this time, coming back the same way.
Westhell guarding him.
Double team.
Shot doesn't go. Benedict is closest to it. Trevor Harris with the left-handed shot.
In lacrosse, you always try to get a double team on the ball. And what do I mean by the man playing the ball and the side that he's trying to dodge to the defensive player on that side tries to come and give him some help. But the execution that'll break that down is where the offensive player is looking to lay the ball off from where the double team is coming from.
Rosalind, Crane, and Novak substitutions for Montclair.
To take advantage of that, you have to be an excellent stick handler.
Sumner with the shot.
Nice save by John KIDON, number 11, the Montclair goalie. Lays the ball off to his left.
KIDON slips, kept his balance, more importantly, kept the ball. Ridgewood has done this part of the game, the forechecking, so well today.
It's Jeremy Marks carrying the ball up the field.
Forcing Montclair into mistakes, and they did again.
And number 24 didn't make the pass. Chris Neppes missed the pass, and the ball stays on the offensive end of the field. Again, this is the beginning of the season. This has been one of the weak spots of Montclair's defense. They lost 2 of their better ball players on the defense this year. Will Conner got hurt in the first game of the season with a shoulder injury. And another player that Coach Johnson was counting on is not on the team this year. So, but as time comes, it will develop. Right now, it's not exactly what he would like it to be.
Another player the Montclair missing, Ed Scott, who's down with an injury, a bone chip in his ankle. He'll be out for a few weeks.
Here we have the Ridgewood's using what we call an off ride. They're laying off the ball. There's nobody pressuring the ball. Montclair's got to find the open man in there. And there's the open man they hope, and then it clamped down on top of the ball.
Montclair will have possession on the push.
And
Almost like this off-right is almost like a zone defense in football.
Exactly. Yes, it is. Okay, here's a pass right in the midfield, and you swarm all over the ball. The ball's down on the ground, and then you hope to come up with a loose ball. It's a zone, exactly, Paul. And when you go with an on ride, it's your man-to-man your man-to-man ride, like in basketball.
At the other end, West Hill ball popped free by Fox. Fox has had a good day. He's delivered some hard hits. Still free. They get it back to Jacobson. And a good example of the fact that you can call timeout anywhere on the field now, as Ridgewood does call for time. Action today taking place in the Fitch division. The New Jersey high school teams are divided into 5 divisions. The Fitch is certainly one of the best, if not the best. Montclair, Ridgewood, Fairlawn, Columbia, West Morris, Del Barton, Mountain Lakes, Montville, and Mendham are the 9 teams that make up the Fitch division. And a very tough opening week of action for the Ridgewood Maroons, especially concerning division play. Of course, they have Montclair today, and then on Saturday, they will go up against Mountain Lakes.
Okay, here we see some physical play right here, Paul. Loose ball, balls on the ground, and that's where a lot of the physical play comes about. Scraping, raking in there for the ground balls. Teams that can scoop well and come up with the ball the first time and get out of trouble. Instead of staying there in 15 minutes, that's where usually you wind up getting hurt somewhere in there.
Finally, it is Sullivan who comes up with the free ball, and he gets it back to Jacobson, and the Maroons called time. Certainly 3 of the top teams in the Fitch have got to be Montclair, Ridgewood, and Mountain Lakes for the Maroons. That means they open up their division play in the first week with probably their 2 top competitors, Montclair and Mountain Lakes. And Steve Jacobson was saying that, you know, in a sense, the league title for us is decided if we happen to lose to both those teams.
This season,
So there's almost no way we can come back, because we've got to hope that someone knocks off Mountain Lakes and Montclair twice, and of course they will play each other. But that would be tough to lose to both those teams in opening week.
that would be. That's they could not control their destiny. That's what the whole thing would be about. The first 2, if they lost and went 0-2, they would season's over for all intents and purposes, over for them.
Errant pass. Benedict picks it up, gets it ahead to Sumner. Ridgewood on the attack, on the fast break. Sumner will take it behind the net.
Number 15, Dan Burns, went to make the catch, but he started cradle just a split second too soon. Anytime the ball is dead, you can substitute.
Some of the Montclair fans in attendance. Lenny Watkins, football player.
And Corey
Lacrosse,
Robinson.
wrestling, rather.
There's Lenny Watkins, right. Made All-State in football.
Outstanding wrestler.
Heavyweight division. Made it to the state final.
We saw the Mounties wrestle against Bloomfield this winter. Montclair down 5-2, pass in front. Capper came up with it. He takes it again behind the cage. Looking for Felber, pass too high for him. Wolf chases it down. Wolf bounce pass to Capra. And a penalty has been called. Dan Sargent will sit for a minute.
Okay. Here comes Capper from behind. He drops the ball inadvertently. So scrabble, there's a scrabble for the loose ball. And in the process of doing that, a penalty was committed.
Dan Sargent's second team All-State last year. He's a senior, and he'll sit for 1.
Montclair needs to get more shots on goal if they're going to get back in this ball game. Make something happen. This is a good time as any to get something started.
Last man-up situation Montclair had, they didn't get a shot on goal. They did take a shot that was wide. Felber, number 8, gets it to Gilligan. Looking for a cutter pass across the goal crease, and Jacobson just snared it out of the air.
Not a very good idea by Kevin's part. That kind of pass is very hard to make across the face of the goal like that. The goalie's standing there looking at it. His stick is wide up. That's what he's looking for, anything he can square. Good check by Kennedy. Okay, here we go.
Ball.
Ground balls. Who wants to come up with it?
6 players after it. It is Sullivan for Ridgewood who came up with it. His forward pass knocked down. Sumner just lost it.
Threw it out of bounds. You know, it's amazing that the ground balls are a very instrumental part of the game, but at the same token, it's getting sloppy play. The ball basically should be in the stick, not on the ground. The good teams very seldom drop the ball, and when the ball is loose, it's come up the first time.
Exactly. It's an exciting thing for the fan to watch, but the coaches probably cringe because, as you said, you'd be happy to see a game where the ball never or very rarely touches the ground.
Exactly. It's very akin to basketball when it's played the way it's supposed to. It moves quickly, the ball is quick, a lot of action.
A lot of the same fundamentals, I guess, for defense especially.
Excellent point.
Wolf brings it across. Well, actually, the only reason I made that excellent point, you told me that several years ago. I remember everything you tell me, and it makes me sound good.
Well, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that.
Having gone to a school that did not have lacrosse, Bloomfield High, of course, next door neighbor to the state power, Montclair. I didn't get to know much about the game. Sumner brings it across. Little push from behind.
My only drawback, Paul, is I only wish that they had TV games at the time when we were on top of the world.
That is definitely true.
I think everybody else is a poor for the fact they didn't have the opportunity to see the dynasty we had at that time, and it was truly a dynasty.
Capra, number 15, trying to dodge around Sullivan. They go behind the net to Gilligan. Okay, and finally the foul is whistled. One minute against Jimmy Smith of Ridgewood, senior defenseman. 5-2 our score, Ridgewood in front. You're watching high school lacrosse action here on TV3. Next week we've got Johnson and Westfield. A couple of veteran coaches, Keith Manera, formerly at Columbia, and of course Sean Charowitz at Westfield. Sean was laughing the other day when I had a chance to see him. He said, you know, I guess I'm now the dean in terms of seniority at one school in New Jersey. Oh. Steve Jacobson certainly has a lot of seniority also, but at several different schools.
It's true. I didn't give that a thought there, Paul.
Yeah, there have been a lot of coaches who have made some changes through the years. Manera is one, many years at Columbia, but now at Johnson.
And I remember when he first got his start.
Sean wasn't real happy to have that title when he thought about it. I said, you're one of the senior spokesmen for lacrosse, and all of a sudden he thought about it and said, I don't think I want to be. Out in front, shot taken by Kennedy, and Jacobson able to cover up. Tim Kennedy, a junior, scored a goal in the opener. Okay. Watch him try and bring it in.
Capper throws it behind. He hits Tim Kennedy. He tries to get a shot. I think one of the defense players stopped the shot, which is part of their job, by the way. If the goalie can't make the stop, the defenseman in front is supposed to take the play with the body, which makes them tough.
Now Montclair trying to ride.
Ride tough.
Jacobson gets it away to Sullivan. Back to Jacobson. Penalty is over to Smith.
Montclair was using a pressure ride to try to kick the ball loose, stay on the offensive end of the field. As the game moves on, they cannot afford to sit back and wait for things to happen. They're going to have to make things happen. And number 33, Tim Sumner is slowing the ball down. Coach Jacobson starting thinking about working the clock.
There is less than 1 minute to go in the quarter. Clock is on the field.
Here we have an isolation by Benedict.
Benedict passes off looking for Sowers. Too far for him, but good coverage by the Maroons as Turco was there. St. Pierre comes up with it, dodges one man, shoots for the far side of the post, and time has expired in the third quarter. So in the third quarter, only Eric Benedict with a goal. That came early, and then the teams went to defense. We'll go to the final quarter with the score: Ridgewood 5, Montclair 2.
Suburban Cable and You is a live monthly talk show that allows you, the subscriber, the chance to call in and discuss any aspect of our cable system. You may be concerned with the reception or simply offer ways you think we can improve the system. Tune in and find out what's going on with your cable system, whether it's the latest technical improvements or changes on the dial. Join the management of Suburban Cablevision live on the first Monday of every month at 6:30 p.m. only on Suburban Cablevision TV3.
No doubt about it, the champion of champions, former head coach Gil Gibbs of Montclair High School. During the break, the two officials, Tim Cullen and Ralph Sturdivant, conducted a random stick check. They are checking for length of stick, width of the head, and depth of the pocket. That is a new rule. If there is a discrepancy in your stick, and they generally are going to choose one stick from each team from a player who has seen a lot of action. They're not going to pull from someone off the bench. They pull from someone who has seen a lot of action. It is a 3-minute unreleasable penalty, with the exception of the depth of the pocket. That could just be loose strings. That is a 1-minute unreleasable penalty. So that is a new rule. You will be seeing random stick checks throughout the year on the high school lacrosse. Naturally, I want to make sure that everyone's equipment conforms.
There's no unfair advantages being had by anyone.
And of course, the depth of the pocket would obviously aid you in better stick control.
Yes, sir. That's where Benedict's goal earlier, the one where we thought should have been checked and the ball fell out. It didn't fall out. And why did it stay in there? Because possibly the stick was illegal. That's why it didn't come out. But again, that's not saying, I'm just using that as an example where it would be to an advantage to have a sagging stick pocket. If you can see over the top of the ball in your stick, if you look through the side of it, then it means that's an illegal pocket.
So that is what the officials were doing between the third and fourth quarter, and they also conducted that check between the first and second quarter. That's just another one of the rule changes that I have to thank Ralph Sturdivant, one of our officials on the field today, helped me out with before the game. We told you about the timeout rule. One other rule that should a game be tied, we would go to overtime. Shot taken by Wolf goes across the goal mouth, chased down by Capra. In the past, the team with the ball would start with possession in the overtime. Now the overtime will start with a face-off. And they are 3-minute sudden death overtimes. Westhell shot up and in.
Nice shot by Westhell.
He went high on Jacobson and makes it a 5-3 game.
Alex Bobrisky made it fed Ted Westhell. Okay, Alex Bobrisky sees Ted Westhell down the middle of the cage. He carries it, makes it a left-handed shot, and knowing that he's right-handed, as I see him in class, he fired it in. Excellent lacrosse players are one can go both hands, just like in basketball. Years ago, you used to dribble with the only hand. You were right-handed, you dribbled right-handed, and the coach got yelled at you when you went with the left hand. Today, if you can't play the sport with both hands, you're not much of a player.
Westhell, 10 goals last year. He's got 3 this season. It's 5-3.
I'm expecting a lot of things out of Ted Westhell. I think he got hurt last year, and he didn't finish up the season. He seems to be very healthy so far.
Junior midfielder for the Mounties.
He's a throwback to me. I see as the old great Montclair players of John Mutchin, Kenny Martin, Danny Blacks, Dave Dufresne.
Great tradition at Montclair High for many, many years. We mentioned the sign honoring Gil Gibbs.
And he was the father of the program. And I miss him.
Cross pass controlled still by Ridgewood. For many years, Montclair dominated the sport. Then Columbia, under head coach Bob Curcio, took over for many years. Westfield in the mid-'80s under Sean Charwitz had a great run. For the past few seasons, Ridgewood, Mountain Lakes have been teams that have shared the crown.
Yeah. And you know, another team that doesn't get the publicity, but they were there. I guess the most consistent team, regardless, besides Montclair, I think it was Lawrenceville. As I look back over the season, year in, year out, they were there. They never went much lower than third in the state. They were somewhere up near the top. They weren't first. They were from first and third, where the lead may have changed from first, between first and second, but they were always there.
Foul called. I believe it will be Sowers who the penalty is called against. Of course, Lawrenceville, that's a 30-second penalty on Sowers.
Okay, here we go. See a penalty here.
Man with the red helmet
on.
Well, it is Sowers who will sit for 30. Lawrenceville, of course, uses postgraduates, which is why they are ineligible for any kind of postseason play in the high school level.
And they seem to bring in a ringer every year. Made them very competitive. Some kid from some other state, and he could play.
Montclair down 5-3. Westhell's shot just before he shot it. He got hit by Ryan Fox. Fox has really done a great job today.
Jacobson again made a nice save on that shot by Westhell. This is Jeremy Marks carrying the ball across the field, looking to give the ball off and hustle back on the defensive end of the field. Number 8, Brian Felber, comes back over the line, showing you how he kept the field balanced so they weren't considered offsides.
Westhell gets rid of it to Felber. Rosalind. Pass to Gilligan. Gilligan tries to dodge past his man, takes it behind the net, finds Felber in front, and it's a 1-goal game. And the Montclair side senses the comeback.
You can feel the intensity of the crowd starting to pick up right now as the game gets closer to the end. Okay, here we go with Gilligan taking the ball behind. Carries it to his left, brings the ball back. Felber standing on the right crease, on the right post, fires it down low and into the goal.
For the score, with about 5.5 minutes to go in the game.
Key face-off right here.
Coach, do you think he might have fooled Jacobson by going low, so close to the net?
Yes, that definitely could have done just that. Usually at that range, you usually fired high, and he was expecting the high, and the goalie's working on percentages also. There.
And he did the opposite of what you mentioned earlier, exactly. And again, the general trend, shoot low when you're far away, shoot high when you're close. Felber changed up on that and made it 5-4. Tim Cullen correcting himself. Push against Ridgewood.
Right now we can feel the momentum changing a little bit here.
And nothing really that you could notice that changed it. It just all of a sudden swung around.
Excellent point there, Paul.
And sometimes you see a team hitting a little more or not passing as much, going a little bit one-on-one. But here, you really, at least I haven't noticed anything significantly different, that all of a sudden now Montclair does have the momentum. Gilligan behind the net. Capra.
Inverting.
Capra's shot. Jacobson got a stick on it.
Clearing out the crease.
Still free.
The ball's loose.
Capra does come away with it for the Mounties.
Runs out of trouble.
Pass to the cutter. Goal. We're tied at 5 apiece. Tim Kennedy has tied it. On the pass from Kevin Capra, 5-5.
It started from the ground ball. Capper picks the ball up, takes the ball behind the cage, looks to the front, he feeds to the front. Fired in by Brian Felber. Number 8.
Tim Kennedy.
I'm sorry, Tim Kennedy.
Kennedy with his second goal of the season.
Tim Kennedy. Sorry about that, Tim. Nice shot.
And we are tied at 5 apiece. We have not been tied since the game was 1-1, which might have been a minute into the game. Going back to the beginning of the game, Eric Benedict scored early for the Maroons. Immediately, after the face-off, Bobrowski got it to Capra, who tied it at 1 apiece. Ridgewood then took a 4-1 lead. Montclair made it 4-2. Ridgewood took a 5-2 lead, but 3 goals here in the 4th quarter have tied it at 5 apiece. Not a bad season opener for TV3.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
And again, for our fans, here's another look at it.
Capra picked the ball up from a ground ball situation, carried the ball out of trouble, fed it around the front. Timmy Kennedy fired it in. Very enthused about that. Again, a family tradition there. Tim's brother played for Montclair. Gilligan's brother played for Montclair. That's another thing about lacrosse. It seems to be a family affair. The younger brothers seem to be hanging around out here, stick handling, what have you. Can't wait for their turn to get up and emulate their brothers, the big brothers.
Well, one thing Chris Johnson said to us on our preseason show, it means a lot to the young man to wear one of the blue hats.
Yes, and that's the tradition. The white hats and the blue hats. The blue hats belonged to the varsity years ago. Montclair started, we all had white hats. We couldn't afford the blue. And then as time went on, the blue hat was the symbol of you made it into the big time to play for Coach Gibbs.
5-5, important face-off won by the Maroons, and they quickly makes the substitution to get Benedict back in, and they get Eric Benedict the ball.
Again, that also shows you what kind of player he was to make All-American as a junior, and to be returning All-American. That has a lot of prestige and tells you a lot about the player himself. And he's trying to reach for the challenge.
In front, covered up by KIDON. Very important trip for Montclair to see if they maintain the momentum that they have established here in the 4th. KIDON very slow. Outlet pass, nice catch.
That's Matt Roslin again, the young man who was hit before that was down.
Picked up by Sumner after the hit. And Sumner will set up the Ridgewood offense.
Good checking. Jeremy Marks, good poke checking, working on him. Again with 2 hands on the stick, he's looking to pass. He's not looking or to feed, as you would call. The term is used in lacrosse. Ball steal in bounds.
Chased down by Trevor Harris. He gets it back to Fox. Over to Turco.
A defensive player usually starts to check the bottom hand. See, he's starting him leaving him way out far, leaving him out near the restraining line. As long as he stays out that deep, you don't have to worry about checking, because that's a very difficult shot to make. That's like shooting at half court in basketball.
Sumner.
Must be about 3 or 4 minutes left in the quarter or in the ball game. This is one of the big disadvantages here, that we don't have a score clock.
Ridgewood operating about 20 yards away for most of this attack. Sumner.
They're playing ball control right now. They want to try to hold on to the ball down at this end of the field, move the ball around, wait for Montclair to make a defensive mistake, and then go to the goal or lull them to sleep.
Tremendous passing by the Maroons. Fox has it.
Again, only if you're a good stick handling team can you afford to do this kind of ball movement.
Sumner bounce shot over the cage. Ridgewood still with possession.
Okay, there goes our philosophy again. Then close, that was too far to ricochet it in. It bounced too high over the cage.
Tim Sumner with the shot.
Carries the ball. He lays it off to the side. And he got too close to the cage and he fired it down low on the ground. Number 33, Sumner. That time we would have liked to really put some mustard on it and fired it over the goalie's shoulder.
Bounced it over the crossbar. We're nearing the 1 minute mark. The young lady with the clock is getting set to come on the field. So I would say we're just under 2.
Ground ball.
Taken in, cross, controlled by Ryan Fox.
The least
Fox
thing,
looking for a cutter. He's finds Sowers. Sowers shot knocked away by KIDON.
nice save by KIDON. The least thing they can do right now, Ridgewood can do as long as they stay on offense, was tie this game, win the game. The worst they can do is come out with a tie.
FELBER up to Gilligan, and now it is Montclair that will have possession. He goes to Capra.
Looking to feed.
FELBER in front. Pass to Gilligan, knocked away momentarily. Controlled by the Mounties, shot hits off the pipe. Controlled by the Maroons, this is Dan Sargent. Inadvertent whistle, it will be Ridgewood ball. Here's that shot.
It hit the pipe. And again, we say the pipe because those goals are made out of pipe.
And we'll have a momentary stop. Dan Sargent, who helped to clear the ball for the Maroons, is down on the field.
Seemed to have the wind knocked out of him.
Ridgewood with the early lead, 3-1 at the quarter, 4-2 at the half, 5-2 through 3 quarters. But it has been Montclair here in the 4th quarter on goals by Westhell, FELBER, and Kennedy. They've tied it at 5 apiece as we near the 1 minute mark. The clock is not yet out on the field, but we near the 1 minute mark. Ridgewood held the ball homer for maybe 3 minutes before this shot.
Yes, they did, and they fired it down low. And John KIDON made a fantastic save, because if he hadn't made it, he would definitely win in the goal.
And after the rebound popped free, you saw KIDON quickly jump back into the crease, swing the stick back to find the pipes to position himself.
To make sure where he was located. You'll see that quite often in a goalie's banging a post. He's not just banging for the sake of banging it. He's banging it to find out where he's located.
We will take a short break. We'll be back with the final minutes of this one right after this break.
If you're a high school senior, you could qualify for the 8th annual Suburban Cablevision Scholarship. This spring, 4 scholarships worth $8,000 each will be awarded to students living in the Suburban Cablevision area. You do not have to be a Suburban Cablevision subscriber to apply. See your guidance counselor for details and an application form. The deadline for the Suburban Cablevision Scholarship is April 19th, and awards will be announced in early June.
Chris Johnson, his team will now be on the defensive as Ridgewood will take possession, do the inadvertent whistle.
Okay, we saw Chris Johnson before, a Montclair High graduate, attended Springfield College. This is the 2nd year as the head coach. Is doing a very fine job.
3-on-1 against Benedict, and Capra took it away. Montclair wants to call time. No one hears Chris Johnson. They go to Gilligan. There's a penalty. Cutter is Westhell. Westhell takes it in deep, and Jacobson with the save. Montclair will have possession after the penalty. And now I think Chris Johnson will get his timeout.
Yes, he will.
A push called against Trevor Harris. It's a 30-second penalty.
Okay, Montclair's going to get a man-up situation with 30 seconds. Chris Johnson wanted a timeout, but again, in a sense, Chris Johnson almost didn't want the timeout because the kid was getting ready, the player was getting ready to score a goal.
And what a play right in front of us. No doubt about it. You want Eric Benedict to try and bring it up. He wanted to go 1-on-1 up the field, but actually it was 3-on-1.
3-on-1.
Here is Benedict coming up. Watch the 3 men start to pick him up. There's 1, there's 2, here's 3.
And he definitely can't, he's that good, he's good, but he's not that good to go through 3 players. And if he is, Montclair needs to pack their bags and go home.
Now at that point, that's where Chris Johnson wanted the timeout. No one heard him. Bobrowski took the ball in, and the Mounties almost got off the shot that gave them the lead. But as it is, they got a penalty, and they will have the advantage for 30 seconds. Down 5-2 entering the quarter. A goal by Ted Westell made it 5-3. Brian FELBER's goal put Montclair within 1. And then the Mounties tied it on the goal by Tim Kennedy, the assist to Kevin Capra.
What do you say, KIDON? Yeah, KIDON!
Chris Johnson maps out his strategy, not only for the rest of this game, but I'm sure particularly for this 30-second penalty. He's having a good time.
Yes, he is. Very intense coach. One of the most popular coaches in the at the high school.
Man waiting in the box is Trevor Harris. He'll be there for 30. Here we go.
Okay, Montclair's looking to set something up here, either with a play or ball movement. Right now, it seems to be a play.
Under 1 minute to go in the game. Kennedy to Gilligan, behind to Capra. Pass to Kennedy. Kennedy's shot knocked away by Jacobson. Kennedy came up with a rebound. Free ball controlled by Jacobson.
Kennedy was in the crease.
Illegal procedure called against the Mounties.
And the ball goes over to Ridgewood.
Watch for number 9 to get the ball. That's Tim Kennedy.
Okay, across the face of the goal.
There's the first
Nice
save.
shot.
And then he never got off a second shot. And there, the violation.
The illegal procedure was that he was in the crease.
And now it will be Ridgewood with one last opportunity. Benedict. Teams are at even strength.
Clock's on the field.
Crossfield pass to Harris. Just out of the penalty box. He gets it to Sumner.
Good check.
Ball knocked free.
Nice check by Jeremy Marks, number 26.
Now,
I think.
and that will do it. Yes, we were waiting to see if a timeout had been called with only a second left, but no, that will do it for regulation. We are tied at 5 apiece. We will be right back with overtime.
Hello, I'm Congressman Donald Payne, and I'd like to talk with you about a program called Suburban Crime Watch. I urge you to watch and participate in this joint effort between Suburban Cablevision and your county sheriff's department. The program uses your anonymous tips to help apprehend wanted criminals in your area. Please help us fight crime in New Jersey. Suburban Crime Watch can be seen Mondays at 9 p.m. only on Suburban Cablevision TV 3.
Almost set to go here at Fortunato Field. 5-5 our score, as we will get ready in just a moment to start the first overtime.
Paul, we were talking about the importance of the face-off. Many, as in college and then in high schools, many teams have specialists. That's all they do. That's their job, to go out there and win the face-off so the team can start on the offensive end of the field. It's just like in basketball, if you could substitute the tallest guy, so you always get the opening tip-off. But in lacrosse, that's done. They have specialists that's all they do is face off.
And then for a lot of times you'll see the team that wins the face-off pull out the offense, make that substitution, and the specialist will be waiting for that next opportunity.
And make a contribution to the winning and losing of the ball game.
3-minute overtimes, sudden death, and we will play as many as necessary.
Until the sun goes down, and then that's another story.
Until the sun goes down or the ball goes in. That's how long we'll stay here. John KIDON goes between the pipes for the Mounties. And Mark Jacobson loosening up between the pipes for the Ridgewood Maroons. Defending state champions were 16-1 last year and 16-1 the year before. Here we go. Montclair shooting to the goal on our right. Ridgewood to the goal on our left. It is Ridgewood that wins the first faceoff. Ryan Fox
comes up with the faceoff.
Quick substitution gets Sumner and Harris back in the game for the Maroons.
First person who scores. Isolation here. Move his stick.
Fox guarded by Kennedy. Takes a shot. Knocked away by KIDON. Controlled by the Mounties.
Good play by Kennedy. He's playing a well of a ball game.
Tim Kennedy has one of the fourth quarter goals for the Mounties. They go back to KIDON. He gives it up to Marks. Over to FELBER.
Nice check, over the head check. Nice over the head check. Caused that mishap before the loose ball. In the defense stat, you pull your stick into your chest. When he comes over, he gets nothing. You keep right on rolling. A lot of young players have a tendency to leave that. That's what we call a gambling type of check. It's all or nothing. If you get it, it looks good. If you miss it, coach is very upset at you gambling like that.
Sumner brings it down on the offensive end for the Maroons. Tied at 5, first overtime here at Fortunato Field. Benedict, he might go one-on-one. He's marked by Westell. Westell checks the ball free.
Good defense. You notice how Westell's holding the stick in close to his chest. Again, he's not being...
He crossed midfield, pulled the ball free, and that's when Fox was able to stick check it away.
Okay.
Ball pops free. Ridgewood will have possession.
Here's Ted Westell carrying the stick. He cradled it back and held it back for that one split second. I was just getting ready to complimenting him on. And that's what all it took, was one split second and the ball was on the ground.
He did a great job. He went through 4 defenders, taking hits, and never gave it up. But as he crossed midfield, he obviously wanted to pull back and look for a pass. Ryan Fox noticed it, took advantage to pop the ball free. And again, it has been Ryan Fox who has had a lot of good hits today.
Yes, he has. And right now, him and Tim Kennedy seem to be the guys who are really doing it.
Mounties coming up for them on Saturday. They'll play Greenwich, Connecticut down at Rutgers as a preliminary to the Rutgers CW post game. On Wednesday, they've got Bridgewater East, and then next Saturday, they will be up in Summit to play a very senior-dominated Summit team. Coming up on Ion Sports next week, Matt Lachlan will be joined by the 3 pros from the Triple Threat Boxing Club in Newark. You'll be able to see that one Thursday evening at 6:30 and then Saturday at 7. And I'm sure one of the things that they will speak about will be the Battle of the Ages. Holyfield and Foreman coming up on April 19th.
You know, we were talking about getting dark before. This is a problem right now since it's still daylight standard time, not, excuse me, Eastern Standard Time, still daylight saving time.
Yeah, until this Saturday.
Yeah.
Good pass.
Excellent pass across the field.
Jacobson to Smith. Gives it to Benedict.
Mitty stays back, number 33, to keep the field balanced so they're not off sides. And now they're ready to go to work.
Benedict
had an isolation there. He was trying to go one-on-one, but he decided not to. Misses the scoop here. Misses the scoop here.
Tim Cullen with the call. Illegal procedure. An interference called against Ridgewood.
Benedict's playing a fine game, but again, that scoop right there cost him right there. We'll see how it affects the winning and losing this ball game. Maybe nothing, maybe something.
Final minute of the first overtime. FELBER will put the ball back into play for the Mounties.
He's going to rotate the ball behind, try to take it across the field by Relke.
Marks couldn't hold on to it. Fox came up with it. Fox crosses.
Beautiful dodge.
Bounce shot kicked away by KIDON. That was Turco with the shot. Fox comes up with it, back to Turco.
father used to be one of the assistant coaches at Ridgewood.
Fox to Sumner. He hands it over to Harris.
Angle of the sun may have something to do with this right now. Some of the guys are shading their eyes to make sure the sun's not in their eyes so they can see the ball.
A little bit of sun in KIDON's face. Sumner turned to fire the shot. As he was shooting, it was Roslin who got in the way of his shot, deflected the stick high. And that will do it for the end of the first overtime. Here's a look at that first shot by Turco, and KIDON with the save, and that will bring us into overtime number 2. We'll be right back.
Suburban Cablevision TV3 is proud to announce that Suburban High School Sports Report with Rob Matola has been honored with an ACE Award in the category of program series about sports. So if you need to know who's hot and who's not in scholastic sports, catch the Suburban High School Sports Report, Thursdays at 7 p.m. and Fridays at 8 p.m., only on Suburban Cablevision TV3.
Just a reminder, more lacrosse action coming your way next week on TV3. The Johnson Crusaders take on the Westfield Blue Devils. They will play on Wednesday. You will see it Thursday the 11th at 8 o'clock, and then Sunday the 14th at 9:30. Homer Robinson and myself will be on the call of that one. Johnson and Westfield next week. Chris Johnson pacing the sidelines as we start overtime number 2.
It's Chris and his coaching staff. That was Tom Smith, Jim Smith, excuse me, who was standing behind him, and a young coach from Penn State is one of his assistants, helping out in the program.
Tom Riley, Adam Rodell also helping out Chris Johnson this year.
All former players of the program.
Teams switch sides. Ridgewood has possession. They will now be going to the goal on our right, headed towards Montclair's Clary Anderson Arena. Fox directing traffic.
Out in the midfield. Nobody's contesting because he's too far out to be dangerous. They have an isolation here, and they're going to try to isolate Eric Benedict against Jeremy Marks, one-on-one. He's with both hands on the stick. He's looking to give the ball off. He's going to take him out in the midfield, try to lose him.
Benedict tried to pass it through, knocked away by Wolf. Benedict came up with it.
Jason Relke doing a good job on number 13.
Turco. Turco gets it to Fox, back to Turco. Looking for Sumner, they get it to him.
Again, looking for an ISO.
Westell.
Warding off, it should be the call. Ball goes over to Montclair. The warding off call is called because with his free arm, you cannot push off with your free arm. Like in football, you can't stiff arm the stick. And that's exactly what he did. His arm was pushing off with his free arm. And the ball goes over to Montclair. Now Montclair's going to have to clear the ball.
This is what Montclair had difficulty with in the early going. Ridgewood did an excellent job forcing Montclair to take a long time to get up.
Ridgewood's using in a zone ride right now. Again, they're not pressuring the ball. They're going to make Montclair find the open man. There is an open man in here for Montclair, and they're playing a zone. And then they're going to collapse on the ball. If you read in their eyes, they will tell you where the ball's going, and everybody's going to get on their horse and get there.
Relke. Back to KIDON. Gets it to Westell. Westell survives one hard hit. Now the ball is free, but Westell comes up with it again. The ball pops free. Ryan Fox picks it up. Fox has Sowers on his right.
Loose ball situation. Jump by number 9, Tim Kennedy, and they have a timeout.
Timeout, Ridgewood. The JVs may never get on the field today.
Very good point. That's the point. There is a JV game after this game, and chances are if they get 1 or 2 quarters, and then they're lucky. A quarter and a half.
They see their playing time slip away with
Yeah.
every overtime minute that we play.
That was one of my coaching tricks then when I was the JV coach. We was always, let's get the lead quick, and then if they want to call the game, it didn't matter. So you can't afford to be playing with catch-up. You got to get out in front. When the coach comes over and asks you, do you want to call the game? Anytime.
Sure. Homer Robinson, very successful assistant coach and JV coach for many years with the Montclair High program. Now looking very dapper in his jacket and tie, working for TV3.
Thank you, Paul.
There are the JVs as they wait for the 5:55 to go by.
May I say over the year, this is my 11th year with you guys?
I was just about to ask if you were aware of how many years. 11
or 12,
years.
maybe even 12. I think I started 79. 79, yeah, 79. 11 years ago. 12 years ago.
And there's our vantage point in the comfortable Windy McGriff press box here at Fortunato Field.
We believe in the open air type of press box.
And we are ready to go here in overtime number 2.
Scenic beauty Montclair, Butch Fortunato Field. In early April.
Benedict will try and go one-on-one. Instead, he passes off to Harris. Harris shot. KIDON stopped it along the pipe.
Crucial save, naturally, this stage of the game. This is Kennedy, excuse me, this is Rosalind. Carry the ball.
Kennedy marked hard from behind. It is Benedict who comes up with a 4-on-3 rush for the Maroons and a misfired shot. Relke comes up with the free ball. And then a penalty is called. Penalty against Trevor Harris. He will sit for 30 seconds. The clock is on the field.
And the ball goes over to Montclair. They're going to be manned up for 30 seconds. Trevor Harris, number 16.
Timeout Montclair. As Chris Johnson and the Mounties want to talk over the final seconds of this second overtime.
Okay, there we have.
Big opportunity for Ridgewood, 4-on-3. But Turco just fanned on the shot.
That was Benedict making the pass across. Again, being unselfish. Again, looking for the open man. Turco was in his anxiousness to score the goal. Didn't make sure he had the stick and had the ball first.
And then at the end of the replay, the foul on Trevor Harris. Steve Jacobson in his huddle, getting his team ready for the closing seconds of this second overtime. As we mentioned before, they've got Mountain Lakes coming up this weekend.
This Saturday. That should be a good one, too. And they're going to find out what the defending champions is all made out of. Montclair today, Mountain Lakes Saturday, who are traditionally one of the top teams in the state. And they will find out where they're made out of very early.
Mountain Lakes, a small Group 1 school that has certainly put together a great tradition, considering the numbers.
That is fantastic.
I mean, here we have 2 schools on the field today who probably get out approximately 100 kids.
Exactly. So it's really not the quantity, it's the quality. And they have the quality over the years. The Mountain Lakes gets the best out of their kids. That's a.
Mountain Lakes probably barely has over 100 boys in the school.
True.
Maybe a little bit more than that, but again, that's just the numbers we're talking about from Group 1 to Group 4.
Yes. And that's a compliment to Coach Flynn, who's a fine coach.
Mounties on the move. Pass inside is knocked away by Dennis Sullivan. His clear to Ryan Fox. Ridgewood now on the move in the closing
Fast
seconds.
break, unsettled situation.
Sumner back to Fox.
In front
back in front. Benedict couldn't get off a good shot. And before the free shot, the whistle blows. And that is the end of overtime number 2. Before Joe Turco could get off the winning shot, here is the shot that didn't happen from Benedict. Back to Fox, now to Benedict, and that's the reason why it was deflected in front by Chris Nippes.
Junior defenseman.
We'll be back in a moment with our third overtime.
Suburban Cablevision's TV3 has been honored by the National Cable Television Association with the coveted ACE Award for overall commitment to local programming. We at TV3 will continue to bring you local programming at its finest.
We at Suburban are real proud to announce that we've won the overall commitment to local programming ACE Award. Thanks to all you subscribers for your support.
Let's quickly run through the scoring summary for you. Ridgewood got it started on a goal by Benedict. Capra tied it for the Mounties. Then Ridgewood went on a run. Benedict made it 2-1. Sumner 3-1. Then Sowers in the second made it 4-1 before Gilligan scored to make it 4-2. Benedict's goal made it 5-2 Ridgewood, but then in the fourth quarter, goals by Westhell, FELBER, and then Kennedy tied it for the Mounties. We start overtime number 3.
With the face-off.
Westhell and St. Pierre will face it off. Ridgewood, for the most part, has had the better of play on the face-offs.
Fox comes up with the loose ball. And that's a planned face-off, folks. It not necessarily have to be the face-off man himself come with the loose ball. This many times the wing middies who comes up with the ball.
The face-off man just gets the ball in an open field and blocks the other face-off man. And then the speedier wing midfielder comes up with the free ball.
And off they go on offense.
This is Fox, number 4.
Beckoning to give the ball off to someone else. And then someone else seems to be Eric Benedict, high school All-American.
Benedict to Fox. Ridgewood has been held scoreless for approximately 26 minutes. Bouncing shot, KIDON with the save on the hard shot by Trevor Harris. Ridgewood scored early in the third quarter. And then when you think about the 9 minutes of the third, 10 of the fourth, and 2 3-minute overtimes, and then the early minute of this overtime, it's been 26 minutes of scoreless play for the Mountie defense. Timeout, Montclair.
Excellent carry and play by Ted Westdale, number 10 from Montclair, bringing that ball over the midfield line. When the double team came to him, he threw the ball where the guy came from and laid it off. This is exactly as been taught.
Ridgewood did get off a shot here in the early third OT.
Fires it down low. Nice save by John KIDON. Looks for the pitch clear, which is his first responsibility. Look for the middies busting out. The middies are not there, then you pitch the ball out to the defenseman. You can't find them, take the ball behind the cage.
Trevor Harris got off that shot, and again, Montclair looking for that fast break outlet. Number 1, because you get your offense going quickly, but again, number 2, Ridgewood has done a great, well, we've got a penalty being called. Because, believe it or not, of the stick check. A penalty has been called because of the random stick check that we spoke of earlier. Let's listen in at the scorer's table and see what we can find out about this.
Check the butt end on that thing, all right? Now, I don't know if that's the same stick or not, but I know you're looking at a stick that isn't even close to 39.5. You got to measure him, Chris. You got to measure him. Then fine, Chris. Then he's looking at 3 in the first. I'm saying if you check before and right, and it's the same stick, I don't think but hey, you make the call or respect the call. Number 10, 3 minutes, illegal stick.
Okay.
Ted Westhell's stick has been ruled illegal because of its length. And what will happen is, as we mentioned earlier, since it does not relate to the pocket, but rather to the dimension of the stick, it will be a 3-minute unreleasable penalty. So for the entire length of this third OT, if we go the full distance, Westhell will not be able to play. And also importantly, the stick, the illegal stick, has now been placed near the scorer's table, and it is, of course, out of use for the rest of the game.
And more so, Montclair has to play man down for 3 minutes. That means that Ridgewood has an advantage of 1 extra man on the field, on the offensive end of the field,
Now,
which
Chris,
is almost asking too much for a team to keep a team from scoring for 3 minutes with an extra man out there.
Chris Johnson's contention is that that it is the same stick that was checked once before. If it was legal then, it should be legal now.
I'll definitely agree with that.
The officials are saying that it is an illegal 3-minute penalty, and the officials' point is just as valid. They say, Coach, we checked it, and it is illegal. It's illegal at this moment. Now, whether it changed, whether he changed sticks, but they say the stick we are checking is illegal. So that is their point.
That's a rough one.
But that is the call.
The point is, then if the kid didn't cut the stick within that time, when they made their spot check on the stick, then how come that it wasn't turned up at that time?
Well, we will try and find an answer if we go to another overtime period and we have a chance to get the officials over here. But the random stick check has given a 3-minute unreleasable penalty.
Okay, here we go. A 3-minute unreleasable penalty, which is fantastic if Montclair can hold these guys scoreless.
Ridgewood 6-on-5 for the duration of this third overtime.
Now let's see what the scenario we can use on how Montclair can prevent this from happening. They're going to let them pass the ball around outside. If they can get the ball, they're going to cheat the ball down to the opposite end of the field, make Ridgewood go chase the ball and kill some time.
Shot fired, knocked away by KIDON. Marks trying to get some room to get the ball. Outlet pass, quickly get it to Nippes. Nippes gets it ahead.
Now
to
get
Crane.
With an extra man, Ridgewood can double team now at will.
Penalty flag. Ridgewood is going to draw a penalty. Delayed call. Capra. He's hit high.
Double penalty.
And there are 2 flags down now. And finally, the possession goes back to the Maroons, and we will have the calls on the penalty.
Would you believe that Ridgewood's going to be down 2 men? And they're going to be man short. Even though Montclair is already 1 man short, they're going to be 1 less than them now. Okay, here we go. We see Kevin Capper carrying around his right side of the cage. Someone hooks him with a stick right underneath his chin, which is an illegal, 1 hand on the stick.
Tim Sumner is the man with the hit. Let's listen in for the call of Tim Cullen.
Went offside, 30 seconds. You then have 3 red. He came up with a hold. That's also 30 seconds. They're both releasable. Horn, please.
Okay, here's what's happened. Turco was called for being offside, and then Sumner called for the technical foul. Both 30-second penalties, both releasable. But you are right, Homer. Ridgewood will be now down a man.
And Montclair has a chance to be up. Who would think that at this time of a game?
Third overtime.
Okay, now the difference also is that Ridgewood's penalties are releasable. That means that if they get the ball and get it in the box, those 2 men can come in. But Montclair's penalty, regardless what happens, they still cannot release theirs. And then Ridgewood again goes back up.
4-on-4 offensively.
Good ball movement.
Capra to Gilligan. Montclair's got a man coming in. That is Bobrowski. Bobrowski with the ball. His pass is high. It will not go out of play. Fox came up with it. His outlet.
Tim Kennedy, the man on the spot there for Montclair. Flips a 1-handed underhand pass. Felber fires.
Felber to Gilligan. Gilligan never got the shot off. Knocked away by Sargent. That will do it for the third overtime. We will have a very tired bunch of lacrosse players tonight. We'll be back in a minute with OT number 4.
Roundtable, the sports talk show that you, the viewer, can contribute to. Join the TV3 sports team as they discuss the latest events making news in the world of sports. Whether it's the high school, college, or professional ranks, the TV3 sports team is prepared to talk about it. You can get involved by calling 636-5333 and become part of the discussion. The Roundtable, live every Monday night at 7:30 p.m., only on Suburban Cablevision TV3.
Well, it's not our second lacrosse game of the year, but time-wise, it might as well be. I'm Paul Spahala, with me Homer Robinson, as we begin OT number 4. Coach, very quickly, how do you keep the kids up going into the 4th OT?
Well, again, the game is still out there on the field. You definitely want to win. We're going to hang out here. We're going to play this long. We might as well win this game. Let's not go out here and run up and down the field and say, well, we're too tired to win. If they can stay out there, so can we. You know, if they're tired, so can we. Again, also goes back to your preseason training. We've been running up and down the hills and dales and all through town, staying in condition. This is where it's all going to pay off for.
Any advantage to Montclair in that they've played a game and they may be a little bit better in condition? Again, you did talk about preseason condition, but again, opening game for Ridgewood?
I don't see really any advantage there one way or the other. I think right now it's boiling down to who wants the game the most and who's going to look for reasons to give the game. It's getting dark, it's getting cold, I'm tired. Those things don't mean a thing right now. Do you want to win this ball game? And if I'm saying if I'm out here this long, I might as well win this thing. So don't give me, I don't want to hear that crap about cold, tired, and all that. I want to win. We do want to win. And both teams wants to win.
No doubt they both want it.
But now we'll find out. We'll come up with an answer.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's a mistake that gives one team the win.
But that's why you got to concentrate and don't lose your composure. And we knew they were going to be, wasn't going to be easy. You sold that to them early in the preseason that hard work is going to pay off.
Free ball controlled by Capra. Tied at 5 apiece. 4th overtime.
Gilligan has the ball, looking to feed the ball back to Capra. He's the senior.
There's a discussion at the scorer's table considering the horn. My guess is it's got something to do with the 3-minute penalty to Westell.
Can I talk to my team? Can I talk to my team or not? 57 seconds have gone. It comes out at 1:30.
Remember, the penalty to Westell was, the check came after that 3rd OT started, and then the random stick check occurred. So my guess is Westell, that's part of the discussion as to when he can come back in, since we're in the early stages of this overtime. Westell still is in the penalty box. There is Ted Westell waiting to get back in.
You know, Paul, this is being the first game of the year. The quality of the lacrosse out here, again, still is not the best. Because it is the first game of the year. And as the season goes along, both these teams are going to get a lot better. And their game will be that much more refined through the practice and through the game, the experience, and what have you. We're seeing a very good lacrosse game, even though this is one of the first games of the year for both teams.
We'll have a face-off to start play after the inadvertent horn. Got to give a lot of credit to Tim Cullen and Ralph Sturdivant, the officials today.
Yes, they are. Tim Cullen's been officiating for years. He used to be the Frail-on coach before he started officiating. In fact, he took over the program shortly after Jacobson left there at Frail-on.
I mean, this is the premier game to be at early in the year, and there's obviously a lot of pressure on the officials, especially considering we're now in the 4th OT.
Yes.
Mike Kinney from the Ledger is here. Sat Safuro of Sportsfolio is here. We're here. Anyone who knows anything about high school lacrosse knows that this was the game to be at today.
Yes, it was.
And a timeout called for by the Maroons. So again, our congratulations to Cullen and Sturdivant for a well-done job today. They've made mistakes that they themselves have corrected, which is certainly agreeable as an official. They both have said, you know, wrong color, or I should have done this, and then they corrected themselves. I'd rather see an official admit a mistake and correct themselves than admit that they are flawless and not correct themselves. And they have done that, and I give them a lot of credit for doing that early in the year. It's an early season game for them also.
Yes, it is, and I'm great. My hat's off to them. Any official who will admit a mistake and correct it and whatnot, and rather than perpetuate it and try to build on it and say that nothing can be done about it. As long as the game's not over, yes, we can correct whatever is wrong. Again, I don't know if that's comes out of the handbook of officials, how to be official, but it seems like the fairest thing to do is to correct a mistake if it can be corrected. And there's no face lost to say, I was wrong, I made a mistake, and I admit it, and what else are you going to do?
They made the right call by correcting themselves.
Thank you.
Early stages, 4th overtime. Steve Jacobson speaking with Tim Cullen.
You know, Paul, I'm sitting here thinking with this new system here, I think something wrong with the system is that there's allowed a timeout in the overtime, these sudden deaths. That's going to make this game over. You got one, and there's no timeouts in these. You have to wait till the end of the 3-minute. That's the timeout.
Yeah, each team is given one additional timeout in each overtime.
Well, that's definitely a problem.
And that has lengthened the game.
You got 3 minutes to play. There's no time unless there's an injury. Fast
Free
break
ball
the other
picked
way.
up by Crane. His pass to Gilligan too high, and it will roll out of play. Yeah, I agree with you. 3 minutes is not a lot of time for well-conditioned athletes to play, and after 3 minutes, they're going to get a break.
Thank you. But it'll take a year before the bugs get out of the system and what have you, and especially with the darkness coming on.
Very fortunate for us. It was a beautiful day.
Yes.
Cloudless, and that has given us this extra light. Ridgewood trying to break it out. Sullivan with the long stick. Passes up ahead to Smith. Good stop, dodge move by Smith. Benedict got us going with a goal. He's got 3 today for the Maroons.
Somebody's got to look to double team him.
His pass in front. Ryan Fox will end the game. In the 4th overtime, Ryan Fox from Eric Benedict. And the defending state champions opened the season with a victory, but it took 4 overtimes to put away the Montclair Mounties. Here's another look at the game-winning goal.
Okay, here's Eric Benedict behind the cage. Fox steps in the front of the crease, fires a shot in. Good look by Benedict with the assist. Fine goal by Fox for the winner.
We will be back to wrap things up from this great season opener right after this.
We at Suburban are real proud to announce that we've won the overall Commitment to Local Programming ACE Award. Thanks to all you subscribers for your support. I don't know what.
Is that all you have to say? You people made so much noise when we made this announcement. It was clearly a family event.
Well, I'm all talked out. I can't think of anyone else. But this is the programming staff behind us.
I didn't know Elaine was part of this.
They told me this was a still photograph. I have nothing to say.
In 4 overtimes today, our final score, Ridgewood 6, Montclair 5. The Maroons open their season with the victory, and they continue from last year's state championship. Mark Jacobson, congratulations on the win. Obviously, you expected a tough one from Montclair, but 4 overtimes, I don't think anyone expected that today.
We weren't looking for it. We probably needed it conditioning-wise, but it would have been nice to get it over with in the 4th periods. but we'll take it this way. We'll take them any way they come.
5-2 lead heading into the fourth. Then they score 3 in a row. Did they bother you on any of their shots? What was the reason for the 3 quick goals?
What they were doing, they were sliding down the midi, man, and we had trouble picking it up at first. They got those 3 quick ones, and we just pulled together as a team, which we haven't really been doing all season. We pulled together, and we just came back from it.
Granted, you know that Montclair's a good team, but this is really the way it's going to be. Every team's going to be shooting for you, whether they're 0-10 coming in against you, because you are the defending champs.
We know that. We know everyone's coming for us because we should be number 1. We look forward to it. We look forward to the challenge.
Mark, thanks very much from a guy. Congratulations on the win. Eric Benedict, step on in here. Eric, a hat trick today in the early going. How did you feel? Comfortable with your first game?
Yeah, I thought I played pretty well. First couple goals, they were slow to back up, but in the end of the game, they started coming on. And we were just trying to score, and their defense really toughened up in the second half. So
in the early going, what did you feel that you could exploit against their defense? What did you feel was working well for Ridgewood in the early going?
I just think that I was trying to beat them with my first move and trying to just outpower them, and then because they looked hesitant in the beginning, but then they started coming on really strong. So.
And let's talk about the all-important goal. When did you spot Ryan?
I was coming around, and I know Ryan's a good friend. I just felt it, man, on the crease. I just threw it over to him, and he just put it right in. So if he didn't put that in, I would have been on him.
All right, Eric, thanks very much for coming by. Congratulations. Ryan Fox, step on in here. Ryan, let's talk about a couple things. First of all, you threw some outstanding hits today. Is that part of the Ridgewood game plan?
No, it's never been part of my game, but I saw the opportunity and I just took it.
What about the Montclair offense? Did you feel that they did better in especially the second half that maybe Ridgewood had to compensate for in the overtime?
Yeah, we had a lapse early in the fourth quarter, the first 5 minutes, and I think we underestimated their offense, and they just capitalized on their opportunities, and we found ourselves in trouble.
Ryan, if you could, describe for us the winning goal. When did you see Eric? When did you decide to make the cut?
Cut down the middle, and I saw it, and I just threw it in.
Were you looking for any particular part, high, low?
I was looking up high because he stopped a couple of my shots down low.
All right. Ryan, thanks very much for coming by. Congratulations. Steve Jacobson. Steve, you gave us 2 great opening games today because 4 overtimes. We knew this was going to be a good one on our schedule, but it turned out to be a great one.
You got to give Montclair a lot of credit. They could have folded very easily, being down going to the fourth quarter, but they hustled a very competitive team. They're very good. They're better shape than we are, but it's good for us. It really is. Montclair has a great tradition with going way back to Homer and Gill. I can remember playing on Anderson, losing a game in 3 overtimes to them, 5-4. I guess it's just 1 for us to get in return, but you know, they were a very good team today. They're going to give a lot of people a lot of trouble, and I don't want to meet them in the state tournament, but I think we're going to.
What kind of year are you hoping for this season for the Maroons?
We should be very, very good. We were state champions last year. We got 17 kids coming back. We lost some good kids, but the only one that's going to stop us, I think, is ourselves. We have an awful lot of talent.
Is today's game an indication that there will be pressure to repeat from every team you play, regardless of how good they are?
I think when you looked at the fourth quarter, we slowed down because we were tired. Montclair pressured us, and they kept the ball moving, and they did a nice job. We're obviously going to have to run, get in better shape, and we'll be in better shape, which has to be good for us. The kids have humongous heads, you know, being state champions, returning. They're going to come back to earth a little bit, and we'll be in good shape. We have an advantage that we went way out of state this year to scrimmage our games, and we played the New York state champion, the Connecticut state champion, and I think that gave us a little advantage because the first half we looked very good till we got tired. But we're going to run, and the kids could realize that.
And I guess any time that particularly Eric touches the ball, other teams are going to be expecting something exciting to happen, as it did finally in the fourth overtime.
Well, the thing is, Eric is so good that they have to double him, and the only thing we have to do is learn to dish off and not only make the first pass, but hit the second or the third pass. You got to give Chris Johnson a lot of credit. His kids played very well. Like I said, they could have died being down 3 goals into the fourth quarter. The exact same thing that happened last year, as a matter of fact. And we won by 1 goal last year, but we didn't do it in overtime. He does a heck of a job. We talked in between the third and fourth overtime. I walked over to him. I said, win or lose, what a great game it is. And he's a super guy, and you got to give him a lot of credit. His kids, he's had a lot of injuries. he's missing about 2 or 3 defensemen that should be starting, and who knows if those kids were here, if it would have made a difference, because we basically had our whole team here except for one defenseman who hurt a knee, who'll be back in a couple of weeks. But I don't want to play Montclair again. Once is enough.
Steve, thanks very much for coming by. Congratulations on the victory. The Maroons opened their season with a 6-5 victory in 4 overtimes. Homer Robinson, certainly no doubt when we saw this on our schedule, we said, hey, there's what looks to be a pretty good opener. No way did we expect 4 overtimes. Great play on both sides. Montclair with a great comeback, but Ridgewood, of course, never folding and winning in the OT.
Right, and it was a fantastic game. Again, as the season grows on, both teams, can you imagine, are going to even be better than they are now. And I think right now, for the pressure that was put on both teams this early in the season, they're definitely going to be there. They're going to have a say on who's going to win it. They may not be there themselves, but they're going to have a big say on whoever's going to get there.
That's for sure, and it is every possibility that come June at Madison, it might be these same 2 teams again. For Homer Robinson, I'm Paul Spahala. We thank you for being with us, and we hope you join us next week for Johnson and Westfield, more high school lacrosse here on TV3. Again, our final in 4 overtimes, Ridgewood 6, Montclair 5.